Hello guys, good evening for you. Let's just start our TRECENA analysis. Welcome to our live. I hope you all had a good Oshilahu Canil TRECENA, and I hope to guide you for what you're going to be experiencing in this next TRECENA of Oshilahu Imox. And while you just wait for some people to jump in to our live, let me know how are you. Thank you for joining me. If you just arrived to the channel and this is your first time following this TRECENA analysis, and you'd like to get more ground and information about the Maya calendar, here in my channel I have a playlist called Fundamentals. So you can watch. There are short videos where you can learn some basic foundations about the Maya calendar that will help your experiencing of understanding the TRECENAs. And also, if you enjoy what I do in here, this analysis of the Maya calendar, all I ask you is just to give your like button. And if you're not subscribed, just subscribe to the channel, because that helped me a lot in here with YouTube. And so let me know how was your Oshilahu Tikin, your Oshilahu Canil TRECENA, and because this is gonna be a nice one to analyze. The last TRECENA analysis we had the Tata Pabiantel here with me to analyze the TRECENAs. It's always good to have my Tata here with me, so I can provide the best of the information here coming from source. And hello everyone, I'm doing good, my friend. How about you? So it's always fun, whenever I have the opportunity to bring someone else in here to bring some more dynamics here to the channel, as well as my other friends, my classmates, as I brought here a few other times. So let's continue with this. Kelgo, why did you stop with the daily posts? Yeah, man, my computer just broke, and all of my docs with the posts that I had, I had already so many made in advance, so I'm not able to reach them. And so I'm just waiting for the right moment to get a new computer so I can go back into the other projects, because I have so many stuff ongoing that I'd like to release, so I have to delay a little bit because of this computer issue. But as soon as I'm able to fix that and to have a good computer to work on, there will be so many things that I would be excited to share with you. But just be a little bit patient with the posts, that I will be back posting as soon as possible. And so I think we can start. Do you have Patreon? Not yet. I started setting up my account. I don't know actually how it works, but I intend to launch my Patreon soon. And any help that you can give me to help to feed the channel, to feel the work that I'm doing, I will appreciate doing that. And as well with the just help just keeping the website on the air. When you said oh, thank you so much, my friend. I'm glad that these analyses have been helping you, and I'll let you know whenever I have something already set up. So let's start with our analysis. And just as always, if you'd like to follow to see the graphics of this next TRECENA, just go to mayathekeeper.me. The link is in the description here of the video. If you go to my calculator, you can calculate the next day, so you can see the graphics of the snake with all of the nawals of this TRECENA that we're going to be seeing right now. So we just we are just finalizing the Oxlahu Canil TRECENA, the 13C TRECENA, which was the TRECENA of the great preparation of the land, like the great potential of something to germinate or something to multiplicate. So in the past analysis that I was here with my Tat, we explored some of the possibilities of things that could happen in the Oxlahu Canil. And I remember mentioning use like the key word that we would apply for this TRECENA would be like how we dose stuff. Because remember that canil, the now seed, follows the three phases of the seed. If the seed by itself, if you don't do anything, if the seed is only going to be the potential of something to germinate, but it's not going to be germinating. The seed needs the proper soil, the proper heat, and the proper amount of water to germinate. And then with that, if the seed receives a lot of water, it can rotten, but in the right proportion, it can multiplicate, it can germinate. So all of the purpose of the previous TRECENA, where we started with Hun Ahmak, one complementarity, was the new complement that the seed needs. And at the end, we need to find like the right dosage for things to go through. So we can fly with things with the wind. The wind can spread the seeds so it can multiplicate. So that's where, one of the things that we talked about in the previous TRECENA. And remember that in the TRECENA I said about the keyword would be like how we dose. Now we are entering to the Oxlahu Imox TRECENA, the water TRECENA. So if the previous TRECENA was the seed, now we are in the TRECENA of the water. So we're going to be watering the seed. The same way that in the past TRECENA we saw Wakib Mosh 6 water, where I said is the heart of the TRECENA, like how we need to dose, like how much of water we're going to pour to the seed. So now, depending on the results that we got in the previous TRECENA, we're going to be continue on in this one. So we're going to be continue like just extending on the proportion side of the stuff, how we're going to measure the stuff that we're going to be applying to the seed. Because now if we need to take care like how much water put into the seed, but now we need to be aware of how much water we're going to inject into our stuff, to make something grow. If you already started multiplicating something in canil, or already harvesting what we planted before, so now it's time that we can inject more force to continue the cycle of planting and harvesting. But we need to be careful with how we're gonna be treating like our plantation, like the things we would like to gather. And this TRECENA we're gonna be starting with Hun Toch 1 fire. Now 1 is the spring, and now Toch is the now of the fire that represents the sacrifices we do in order to achieve the stuff that we want for our lives, like to sacrifice ourselves to achieve power, to conquer something. So it can be talking about the payments that we get or that we have to pay. Like there are some stuff that we have to pay with our health, or some stuff can cost like our health because we don't pay attention too much on like on how we are applying ourselves into that. So that can cost with something from our health. But at the same way, it talks about the rewards. Sometimes you need to get sick in order to get the reward you think you like to. So it's gonna be about just seeing like if it's worth it or not, just going through all of that. So in the Canil TRECENA we also spoke about like whenever we abuse of the substances that makes the seed go rotten, or in other words like things that we can ingest that could intoxicate us. So talking about also related to now Imox, like could be alcohol, it could be coffee, it could be anything that can make us addicted, just like as we are applying the fertilizers for the seed to keep growing faster. So in this TRECENA that we are starting with Huntor, like the fire. So this is the new fire, maybe the new reward, or the new sickness that we are paying because of the intoxication of the seed, the rottenness of the seed. So depending on how the past TRECENA went for all of us, this one is going to be continue progressing with that. So Imox is going to be talking about like this injection of force to make things grow. So this is the TRECENA of the growth. Whether if you are looking at the TRECENA by calling it by the Huntor TRECENA, this TRECENA we need to make the fire grow. So Imox is the nawal of the growth. So it's going to be like as if we just light up a fire. Now we're just going to throw alcohol to make the fire grow. But if we are not careful enough on how much we apply or in how we apply it, we can end up getting burned by this fire. So that's why we need to be very cautious in this Oshilahu Imox TRECENA, because Imox is like now it's kind of impossible to negotiate. It's very unpredictable. So what we can do, we need to at least be cautious enough to understand how things tend to go. To if happens to getting caught up with a surprise, we can reduce the damage. We can at least not getting like frustrated too much. Just like when we are building our sandcastle just by the shore, and then suddenly comes the wave and destroys it. So Imox you cannot predict. Even if Imox is being nice for some time, so it's just a matter of time just to prove us wrong. That's why we need to understand that Imox is very unpredictable. So this can be, we can also call this TRECENA as a big wave or the big tsunami. If you ride this wave, good for us. We can score a lot. We can like get so much stuff. We can produce a lot. We can multiplicate things. But remembering that there is also a risk that we can't just get caught up by this and get destroyed by the madness that Imox can bring. Because Imox, we talk about a lot of strength and very little precision. It's just carrying something like with a lot of weight and very fragile with our opposite hand, where we're not going to be as much precise as if we were doing like with our good hand, for example. So that's one of the ways that we can express Imox. Also, we can also talk about that Imox represents the sea of consciousness, like this deep consciousness where we all draw inspirations from. So it's going to be like this abstract world that we can build like beautiful things. We can come up with brand new ideas, but it's messy, especially if we just try to get everything in there, like can become a completely mess. So the same place that we can create beautiful things, visionary things, is the same place that we can get confused, we can misunderstand stuff and drive things into madness. So that's one of the other phases that we need to be aware of now in Imox. So that's why this TRECENA, as is connected to the sea of consciousness, is a TRECENA to be careful on the things that we take for granted, because sometimes we can be misunderstanding stuff or not being like interpreting in the right way. So it's good to always leave room, for questioning stuff in this TRECENA, and so we can build like the flow of this TRECENA. We can try to pave like the way for the water to flow like in the safest way possible. So it doesn't matter that I am asking you just to be a little bit aware of this Imox TRECENA. And so we are starting with this Huntor. So the Huntor is the new reward that we receive from the past TRECENA for getting the multiplication, or maybe you are paying for something in there, depending on how the past TRECENA went. So this one is going to be continue on, like how much impulse that we got from the past TRECENA will dictate of how much like we are starting our fire in this one. And then from Huntor, we're gonna move to Cape T, to dog. 2 is a now of the retraction, is the calculation of the TRECENA, and now T is a now of the dog that talks about emotions. Emotional confusion most of the time. So we talk about, if in the past, just so 2C is going to be about retracting to see, if there are any confusions in the emotions, retract, to calculate the emotions. So if the past TRECENA we were talking about getting rotten, or becoming addicted to stuff, C can represent whenever we try to escape something, like as a value of to escape, because you're just too messing emotions, maybe like you're under a lot of stress in the past TRECENA, you start drinking a lot of coffee and start becoming anxious, and then your emotions, start being mixed up. So then you can start just entering into addiction, trying to escape that emotional state. So KFC could be the moment to take one step back to see like how to check on how our emotions going, to check if there is any confusion, because this is the moment of the TRECENA where you need to calculate where things are going. Just like if you have a slingshot laser, we're going to be pulling back stuff to aim where, and to aim also the strength we need to put in things. Once again, it's very good to remember that dosage is one of the key words. Dosage and precision is the key words of this TRECENA. So we need to make a good calculation on these emotions. So these emotions can also work as a fuel for us to inject force. But if we inject this emotional confusion, the result's not going to be the best, right? So the cleaner, the more we're able to clean up, just to raise these confusions, the better for us to inject in this TRECENA. And so that's why KFT is this moment of retract to resolve any emotional confusion, retract to get out of the chaos, and then we can open the path now with the following nawal, Oshi Bats, 3 howler monkey, or 3 threads. Now 3 is an owl that's already accumulated enough water, enough strength, so it can open the path, can diverge to surpass an obstacle. And our bat is the now to put things in order. If T is the chaos, now bat is the one that restores things in order. Is the now to put things into action, to do the work. And as the threads, we can also talk about connecting the dots, connecting, let's see what goes good together to create something. So it's about, we can apply to arts, we can apply to resolve problems. Is the art of putting things together to come up with a solution. So Shibat's going to be opening the path to create, opening the path to resolve, to put things in order. If this is the TRECENA of the Sea of Consciousness, where you can draw inspirations from, Oshibat's in a very auspicious day to kickstart, to create stuff, to dedicate for arts and spirituality, all of these practices, because it has a lot of inspiration to drive from. It's a very forward day, and it's a very auspicious day to create stuff. If we already resolve stuff with KBT, because remembering, now 3 can diverge into so many different places, just like the abstract world can gives us all the inspirations we need, but can also turn everything is a mess. If you are trying to create so many stuff, you're just trying to put in your bucket, like in your net, so many different ideas, sometimes they may not converge well together. So that can be a burden. That can be something that can, like with a lot of inspiration, maybe that cancel one another. So we need to be aware of how much we can handle that. So we need to be aware in this day to try not to stop things, just try to find a nice flow, because this is the TRECENA that we need to build this flow, for a safe growth of stuff, and avoid, because this divergence of ideas can end up making you getting entangled later on. And then from Oshibat, we're gonna go to Kahib E for Pathfinder. Now 4 is a now where the water stops. We can talk about where the stationary point of the TRECENA. And now E is a now of finding a path of exploration, now of the road. the physical road, the spiritual road, the intellectual road, any type of road where you can travel to get insights. So talk about how we form we give meaning to things. So Kahib E talks about establishing meaning, establishing a purpose. So if this is a Trecena of finding the great flow, like the biggest flow, the biggest injection of force. So the more structured we are, the more we know where to go, where we want to take things. We know like where we want to take all the ideas we created in bots. The better for us to start to pave where the water needs to go. So Kahib A is to establish your meaning, establish your purpose. So we can balance stuff, we can ground stuff. And otherwise, if you are not able to create stuff, if you're not able to move on with things, Kahib E will represent the stagnation in melancholy, when we are afraid and then you don't want to go forward. So that can represent the downside of now A. If you get entangled in bots, it's most likely we can get stagnant in now A, not knowing exactly what we would like to create. So that's why we need to resolve all of the emotional confusions in T. We need to open the path, just flowing with bots, keeping stuff light, but also progressing. Remember, in this Trecena of the flow, the Trecena of the water, we cannot hold that too much because the water will always take the shape of the recipient that is holding it. And then after the Kahib E, after just fixing or just targeting like the purpose of the meaning of something that we are building, we can overflow with the transformation. And so this is the moment where things can go sideways. Remember, as Tata Pabiantel mentioned in the previous analysis, now 5 is the one that sometimes can be even stronger, can have even more strength than now 13. So this is the moment where everything that is uncontrolled can go sideways in this Trecena. So Hop being the one that is unstoppable, the one that can be the water, that can be rude, that cannot be stopped. Now is going to be talking about the transformation. The transformation based on something like that comes from an instability or something that is incomplete. So this Imox Trecena is already giving us the flow or the injection of force that we can apply that. But we need to learn how to dose stuff. So remember, like especially if this Trecena can gives us a lot of inspiration to create something. If we don't control how much we open the tap of water of inspiration, we can get entangled. So the more we're going to be having to transform. So the more complicated things are going to be, to handle. So that's why it's very easy to lose the touch and get entangled in this Trecena, to be imprecise, because sometimes we cannot even pay, we can even lose the control unconsciously. So that's why we need to be very aware of how we take things in this Trecena, because the more things we open the tab, the more we're going to be having to transform, the more things we're going to be having to take care of. So in that we represented how much strength is going to be accumulated in Imox with this Hop this 5 transformation, because this is the moment for overflowing with the changes that we need to do. Yeah, it could be sometimes some stuff that you don't want to do, but they're kind of necessary. So that's what now leads, like with this stuff that are not very pleasant to do. But we will set up like how much stuff we need to transform. So depending on how we go with these things in Hop now in Wakib Ishvalam 6 Jaguar, we're going to have to ponder the development of stuff. It's a time for us to put things in the scale to see like how much we're going to do and how we can compensate that. So every transformation will require 2 aspects, like the feminine aspect and the masculine aspects, to complete the transformation. Ishvalan will represent the female aspect of development, of conception, of fertility. So 6 is now to ponder. So we're gonna be pondering how much stuff we are building in this TRECENA, how it's being the development. Maybe it requires a little bit of more action. Maybe it requires a little bit of more resources so you can inject. So that's gonna be the heart of this TRECENA, the heart of development. So the how much fertility we can inject with the water for so we can have this growth of this TRECENA. And so that's something that we need to ponder. So 6 Ishvalam is going to be the moment to ponder that, to compensate, to see what is lacking and what you need to compensate in that. And then we're going to move to Kub Tikin 7 Ego. Now 7 is the climax of the TRECENA, is the hot water, is the moment where maybe we see where we would like to get, or where things are tending to go. We see the destination of stuff, just like if we are in the top of a canyon, just looking at all the surroundings, just seeing like the big picture. And Tikin is the masculine force, is the sky. If Ishvalam is earth, Tikin is the sky, is the midday sun, is the sun that burns like the most. So it's going to be talking about engendering, inception. So we're going straight forward. And that's going to give us this masculine aspect to complete the transformation. It's the final straightforward actions. If this TRECENA, we are talking about finding the flow, just trying to find the precision to take things in this TRECENA, Tikin represent the focus that we need to have whenever doing this stuff, whenever like we are using this water or injecting this water. So it's the key for us to be successful in that. It's about being focused, being careful on how we're going to be using that. If in the beginning of the TRECENA we spoke about Huntor, is that fire that this TRECENA we find is growth. We can growth that can serve much if we're not if we don't have the control, it can burn us. The same way that the midday sun, if we are not being careful enough, like it can burn us, it can cause problems into our skin, into our health. So it's something that we need to pay attention to if we are not focused. So we need to be very aware on how much force you're going to be injecting. So we need to be focused. And that's what the Tikin is going to be telling us in this TRECENA. It's going to be about like this intense focus that you need to have with emotion, to be careful for not just having things lead into madness. The more focused we are, the less likely we are to be caught by surprise by this big wave of emotion. So Tikin will be talking about like if you need to invest into something, if you need to do investments, you can use Tikin. Everything related to business. If you take the three nawals that we are seeing, like Ishvalam, the Jaguar, Tikin, the Eagle, and Ahmak, that are going to be entering now, they're great for business. They're great to think about these aspects. So now we're going to move to Washakib Ahmak 8, complementarity. That's where the TRECENA returns. Now 8 is a now of the return. Just like if we start doing something for the second time, walking from the beginning once again. So now we can recognize the patterns. If we started already for a reward in our Toh, in Huntoh, so now that the TRECENA is returning, maybe we were able to recognize the patterns that led us to have to collect good results. So Ahmak we can also use to express the results we get, because this is the now that combines the complementary opposites, just like the female jaguar and the male eagle, like the feminine and masculine, to give birth into something, to procreate. That's why it's a now that talks about the continuation of our generations. Is the newborns, is the product, is the fruit. When we combine these two principles, is the one that finalizes the transformation by just showing us the results. But of course, the potential of the result you're gonna get, like the quality of the result you're gonna be getting, will depend on how we manage to do things in Ishvalam and Tikin, for example. So Washaki Bahma can be the return of the results. So where you can measure stuff. Maybe you got burned, or if you got sick, maybe Washaki Bahma can show what are your mistakes, where are the mistakes you are committing. Maybe you're just too excited about a project that you cannot see, that you are just throwing your health in the rubbish. Maybe you're just getting so much result that you understand the process of obtaining like financial success or success in any other things. You can recognize the patterns. It's about just getting out of just living darkness, just also understanding that this excitement and stuff to like if you can, who can be the people that can help you as a complementary to in order to make things grow. But also this ahmak that covers so many different aspects. When you talk about blindness in ahmak, like we get like mesmerized about something, like we are just too excited, or we fall in love with something that can lead us to make mistakes. That's what now ahmak talks about. And in this TRECENA of this great flow, this great injection of force, as I've been saying, Imox represents a lot of force and very little control. Just like when we are too excited about these emotions we are getting, or about a person, or about a project, that can put us into blindness, and we are very likely to commit mistakes. We are very likely to misinterpret stuff. And that all enters into this realm of Naurimosh, of confusion. So remember, the beginning of the TRECENA, we spoke about, so we got the rewards in Tor. Then you had to retract to check our emotions, to see what happened to the past TRECENA, to try to put things in order with our emotions confusion. So now Ahmak is returning, so we should be at least more able to recognize the patterns if we're making mistakes, if we're not getting the results that we want. So maybe you can see if we are walking with our feet on the floor with emotion here. Or because if you are too excited, maybe other people are just seeing the mistakes we are committing. So the more we listen to them, the more we give this room for questioning stuff, so the better. So the less likely we are to walk into this imprecise side of Naurimosh. Remember, we need to be careful in this TRECENA. We need to be extremely focused on the stuff that we apply, because, as I always say, the Mosh is a very hard now to negotiate. So if Ahmak continues in blindness, you are returning to the TRECENA once again, not realizing maybe this stuff where things are going wrong. It could be your business, it could be your personal relations, it could be like your health or anything related. Imosh can accumulate things into madness. And then from Washaki Bahmak, we're gonna go to Belaer Naor, or Belaer Noh. 9 thoughts, 9 knowledge, 9 sensing and thinking. So now 9, we talk about the inner, the private, like what's running underneath the sides, what we cannot see. Is the hidden things of the earth. And now we talk about knowledge, like the process of thinking, organizing, synthesizing, just like the same keywords that we use to express the human mind, making analysis, synthesis, organizing stuff. So Belaer Naor is gonna be the inner organization. As I mentioned, the more focused you are to follow in this TRECENA, the better. So the more organized we are, the better. The less likely we are to have surprises. So the more we are able to see like the patterns we are following, to make sure we don't confuse stuff, we don't misinterpret stuff with Imosh. So the more careful we walk in this TRECENA, the better. That's why we are seeing these 9 now in this position here. So everything is about like being organized, especially in this TRECENA of this great turmoil that Imosh can represent. If you have a plan, so you have something where you need to go, like in the beginning of the TRECENA, we set up the purpose, what is the meaning to lead this flow, the better. So Belaer Naor is to have a plan so where we can pave this flow to go. So we can direct the water so we can make the system flow. The same way we cannot hold like for too long like our circulation, because otherwise it can get stagnant and it cannot be good for us. So we need to find a way to make things run freely. So it's about to how we're going to be structuring or to pave this flow of this TRECENA of Imox. And also can represent, as Imox can represent a lot of strength and little control, Belair Imox can also express whenever we are having too much ideas, or if we weren't able to control our emotions or to clear like all of this confusion we saw in Cape T, maybe you can start overthinking about situations. We cannot focus too much because we have like so many different thoughts, so many different ideas that it doesn't allow us to focus on a solution, or doesn't allow us to focus on what we need to focus. So this emotion can be like this turmoil that can represent this overthinking that can inflammate stuff from the inside. So remember, the more we walk checking stuff, just questioning stuff in this TRECENA, for the sake of it, the better. And then from Belaer Naor, or 9 thoughts, 9 thinker, we're gonna move to Laur Tihash, 10 cut, 10 obsidian, 10 mirror. So now 10 is an hour of the convergence. Is the convergence just like that we can represent as a lake that receives the water from the rivers or from many sources of water, but also gives to the land. So it's the act of giving and receiving. And now Tihash, we talk about the cut, like the cuts to edit stuff, or can be the cut for incision, for healing. Can be the cut to filter your communication, like the words that we're going to be talking about, because that's the main aspect of now Tihash in the communication. How you use your words, they can hurt and they can heal. So it's all a matter of how you use that. The same way that you can use the obsidian to build the scalpel, and also to use as an arrowhead or the spearhead to hunt or to defend your territory. It's all about how you use that. The same way we can also talk about when you talk about medicine, the difference between the medicine and the drug is the dosage. So here we're gonna be converging these medicines. If you're not able to be precise into that, you can convert like the turn of medicine, like you can turn the water into like something polluted, something that can intoxicate you. So you can get drugged for not being able to use correctly the medicine you're applying. So in this TRECENA, we can also see Laur Tihash. If you're having like so many potential ideas, so many inspirations, because all of this extreme potential that this TRECENA can bring, and you are not able to filter that, we can come into mass. Remember, in the first part of the TRECENA, we went through Oshibat, like opening the path to create something. But remember, if you're not able to control the tap of inspiration, we can get entangled. The threads cannot develop the ideas even further. We cannot maybe conclude our purpose of our creations. So that's why, by the second time, the second run in the TRECENA, maybe you are able to use this type of inspiration that the sea of consciousness of emotion can bring, but filtering it better, like editing what we need to do. Maybe could be the time where we can just present or communicate our projects for other people, because maybe they can help us seeing better what we cannot see. Remember, once again, the more we leave a room to question stuff in this TRECENA, like not taking for granted like all our ideas, how we see things, the better. So Tihash can work as well as the convergence of a mirror. just like when the lake can reflect like the sky, where you can see through that. So it can be like the hurting truth that we wouldn't like to see. Maybe this communication needs to come from someone else. That's why this could Laurtihash 10 cut could be a good day for you to present stuff for other people, because maybe you can see some stuff that we weren't able to see by ourselves. And then moving from Laurtihash, we're gonna go to Hulaur Kawuk 11 sheet lightning. 11 is an owl that spreads, can spread or dilute. In Kawuk, we talk about the vision, the inner vision, the tunnel vision is an owl of the visionary creativity to see beyond, deep intuition. But in Maya, we always talk about intuition as unsolicited information. It's just like having your antenna that is open all the time and is getting information from everywhere. It can be something good that you can see already, maybe can provide you the big picture of a project or where you would like to go, but you're not, there is no way that you're gonna be sure about that. Maybe you got the big picture, but only after you connect the dots, only after you organize stuff, they're gonna be able to see if you are right or wrong, if your intuition like was on point, or if it was just maybe something that you just got wrong. So that's why you can never really know for sure if it's that, but it's still gonna be having to live with that unquiet feeling, or maybe you could be right, maybe you could be wrong. So but it's still, you're never gonna be so sure. And that's where things can go into madness in this TRECENA, because 11 can spread this stuff. Maybe can spread like the range of your antenna, so you can get so many different stuff. And if you're too much open about so many things, if you don't have a particular focus in this TRECENA, you can absorb so many unuseful information as well, gossips, stuff that's gonna be adding, so only gonna be accumulation, trash information to your brain. So that's where lies the danger of this TRECENA. So that you only be giving room for Imox to take onto this and transform this into madness. Especially you can misunderstand stuff, or maybe you can confuse stuff. You can enter what we call in Quiche kamosherik, entering this confusion, like you don't interpret well the stuff that you are saying. So, but in the most, if you are able to cut stuff into hash, like you are able to see through the mirror, you see the truth, then 11 Kau can work as whenever we clear the way, like we dissipate like the trouble, we dissipate like the illusion over there, we can see through stuff, we can see through the madness. So the more we are able to cut and see where we are going into hash, 11 Kau can just clear the space, just gives us the straight vision. So the more focused we are working to something, the better we tell Kau what kind of information, of kind of deep intuition we would benefit from. So we need to be aware of this nature of now 11, just wanting to take things into many places. So I would suggest, like, if you just turn on like your social media notification in this day, don't let just spread too much. The more you're focused on the stuff that you're going to be needing, the better. And then from Hulaur Kawuk, we're going to move to Kablaur Hunarpu, 12 Conqueror Sun. Now 12 brings the hidden balance of the TRECENA, brings maybe the last step before the accumulation. It's the last step before you send the battle, you send for this big injection of force of Imox. And Hunarpu, we'll be talking about the battle of getting out of the darkness. So the same way that Imox TRECENA gives us this strength, this fuel to go up for the growth, for the flow. Remember, we can easily enter into this realm of confusion. So if you are falling in this realm of confusion, like we don't know where you're going, So then Hunahpu can just indicate us the false glow. Can also talk about, for example, if a warrior that once was afraid to go to the battle, and then finds the courage and wins a battle, then wins the second and the other and the other, and builds so much confidence that becomes arrogance. That's where it started. So it starts seeing itself by gold. But sometimes it can be a false gold. Sometimes we are just seeing copper as gold. So especially in this TRECENA, where we need to leave room for doubts, room that to admit that we are wrong. So maybe Kabla Hunarpu can show us that we are wrong, can show us the false glow, can show us maybe we like if Hunarpu could be the saga of the hero, could be like the when the hero becomes the traitor, so we can fall to the treason side of now Hunarpu. Also, we can talk about like the if you are able to transform to inject force, we can talk about the beauty of stuff, like the all of the potential that this if you are able to apply stuff in the proportion, if you are focused to the stuff, we can illuminate like the king talked to us being the bright sun. Hunarpu can be like the extra beauty that stuff can bring, like the extra green after the rain the falls in the forest, that makes like all of the leaves more alive, so gives that sense of vibrance. That's why in Hunarpu we talk about the extra glow. So in the most auspicious, if you're taking like if you're able to harvest like the most potential of stuff of this TRECENA, Hunarpu can show this magic beauty stuff, like this shining glow that can attract people, that can uh, helps us battle to get out of the darkness, to go through all these transformations, all of this uncontrollable madness of this TRECENA. We can turn that into something positive as well. And then from after Kablau Hunarpu, we're gonna move to the final day of the TRECENA, the accumulation, Oshlahu Imosh 13 water. 13 is the now of the accumulation, like represents the sea, the big body of water, or something that transcends, or we talk about the oldest entity, or something that is pushing already something forward. From the beginning, a split second after Huntor, steps in, Imosh already start pushing things. We only can decide like where this spring, if it's gonna be watering on a river, if it's gonna be watering on a lake, or it's gonna be watering on the ocean. So, but it's already Imosh just pushing, you can drive things towards to the accumulation of this destination. And Imosh, as I told you, is the now of the growth, the big injection of force. It's the now of the flow. Is the sea of consciousness. So where we can all draw inspiration from. This inspiration can work as this injection of force for you to create your artistic stuff. Can be the injection of force for you to handle the work that you gotta do, to find the motivation. But remember, Imosh is a lot of strength but little precision. So remember, once again, the key words to handle this TRECENA is how we're going to be dosing and how precise we are able to be. So we need to be very focused on how we're going to be applying this stuff. So the more careful, the more focused, and the more we're able to dose, the better the outcome we are able to receive from this TRECENA. We can have beautiful things with Imosh. We can bring stuff like to the highest, like we can re-inject so much force that can bring so much potential. But it's not because if something is too auspicious, too much, more than can really be, like if it's too much, it also can be bad. So we need to really know how to dose. And remember, Imosh can confuse stuff, can lead us to misunderstand, can enter us to the realm of confusion. So that's why always leaving some room for doubt, for like at least know that we could be wrong about something, the better. So don't take things for granted in this TRECENA. The more you are able to check, the better. And in this we finalize the analysis of the Oshlahu, Imox, TRECENA, and get ready for the next TRECENA. That's going to be the Oshlahu Ishvalam TRECENA. So I always picture this sequence of three TRECENAs: the canoe TRECENA, which was the previous one, the seed, now the water TRECENA, and then the next one, Ishvalam, the jaguar, talks about the earth, the fertility, like the ground. So it's going to be the seed, the water, and the earth, so we can develop. So these three TRECENAs, we always need to look after, like how we dose stuff, how we're gonna cultivate stuff for getting like the economics that we need to harvest the resources that we need. So the more we are able to handle, to apply in a good proportion, to have a good quality imbalance of these nutrients, the more we learn how to flow with life in a balanced way. We know how to bounce back faster whenever we fall. If you just have like some difficulties, whether with health, whether financially, all the areas, the more we understand how these conditions work, the better. So, and I think these three TRECENAs of seed, water, and jaguar, they are very essential to understand this stuff. So here we finalize the analysis. If you have any questions related or unrelated to the TRECENA, I'm here to answer some of these. If not, we can finalize. And just to recapitulate a little bit in a fast way of everything we talk about in this TRECENA, we started Huntor, one fire, the new reward, or the new sickness, the new burn. And then we retract with our emotions to calculate what went wrong in the past TRECENA, to eliminate any confusion in the emotions, so we can calculate how to go forward. Then we can open the path to create in Noshibat, through monkey. We can see the divergence of the ideas that we can combine to create. So we can, in Kahib E for Pathfinder, we can establish the direction, where we like to go, where we like to take things in TRECENA. So we can move on, we can overflow with the changes in Hob Ah. We can put the transformation to go. So we can inject force to give birth to these changes. So we can manage and balance things in Wakib Ishvalam, 6 Jaguar, measuring how much development we are having in what is lacking over there. We put the fertility in the scale, so we can apply the investment, the masculine force in the Tikkun. So we have the focus, like the midday sun, or the rain, like the tropical rain that falls from the sky straight forward to the ground. So we can apply straightforward, so we can come back and measure our results in Washaki Bahmak, see what the mistakes, recognize the patterns of the results we're getting. So that can lead us to see the inner organization in Belayach Noh, to understand the process, to organize stuff internally. So we can converge the truth, we can converge what needs to be cut in Lauch Tihash, so you can clear the vision in Hulauch Kawuk. Then you can find the extra brightness in Kablauch Hunahpu. So you can have this big flow, this big injection of force in Oshlahu Imox. So in that we finalize the TRECENA, and as there are no other questions, I think we can finalize this analysis. Thank you so much for joining me, for staying here with me with this analysis. If you need anything, you can reach me on Instagram. All the links is in the description of the video. And wish you all a beautiful TRECENA ahead, and see you all in our next TRECENA analysis. Bye bye, guys.